Welcome back. So, today I am going to start a new topic, that is the second life process which we are going to continue, that is respiration. First in humans. So, let's start. So, till now we read about digestion. Okay. So, what happened in digestion? We get the nutrients to the cell. Okay. The nutrients reach the cell. After that, what going to happen? We need energy to perform other life processes too, right? So, here after absorption the nutrients reach the cell. We saw from the villi the nutrients get into the blood vessels and it reaches the cell. Now, what is the use of the nutrients? Why we eat food? To get energy. So, we need energy. So, these nutrients are going to supply the energy. So, this process of getting energy to perform different other physiological activities is known as respiration. More scientific definition, the process of production of energy with intake of oxygen and intake of oxygen, okay, means while we breathe we take a oxygen. So, intake of oxygen and release of CO2, carbon dioxide, by oxidation of complex substance or nutrients. Okay, let me simplify it into a simple reaction. Suppose okay, we breathe in. Okay, so what we take? Oxygen. Oxygen plus, suppose there is X. X is a nutrient. Okay, which is already present in the cell. Okay, so now we need to now it need to supply the energy. How is it going to do that? Now the oxidation. What do you mean by oxidation? Means this is a complex substance. Oxidation of complex substance. That means oxidation means removal of hydrogen or addition of oxygen. Okay, so O2 plus X, any nutrient. Okay, so now after that we will always get the end product will be CO2 plus H2O plus energy. Or there is CO2 or there may be other carbon based compounds. Okay, we can get other carbon, not only CO2, we will also get other carbon based compound like ethanol, lactic acid, which we are going to learn later. Okay, so we saw, suppose this is some nutrient. So when oxidation occurs, the release of energy is here, which is the most important point. Okay, energy is released. So how it happens in human, in presence of oxygen, in absence of oxygen? So let's see. Okay, so now let's get into cellular respiration. The release of energy that occurs inside the cell. So there are many conditions in human. First is in presence of oxygen, another is in absence of oxygen. After that we are going to read the cellular respiration in yeast. Yeast is a single cell. Okay, so now first in humans, in presence of oxygen, what happens? As I already told you, we take in oxygen and all. So the glucose, suppose the nutrient is glucose, we know it. Okay, so in cytoplasm, first step which occurs in both these three, under these three concepts, one step is common, that is the breakdown of glucose into this is a 6 carbon compound. This is a 6 carbon compound. It breaks into a 3 carbon compound. 3 carbon compound. And the name is pyruvate. Formula, which is not that important, but you should know, C3H4O. Now we get, from glucose we get pyruvate. So after that what happens? Now this pyruvate in presence of oxygen releases carbon dioxide and water and energy. Okay, so in presence of O2, I have already written here the topic. Okay, so you should know where this happens in mitochondria. Why mitochondria? You already learned in class 9 that mitochondria is the powerhouse of cell. You already know that. What does that mean? That energy is stored in mitochondria. So of course this process is going to occur in mitochondria. So you have to write here in mitochondria. Okay. In mitochondria, so we get CO2 plus H2O plus energy. Okay, so what is this energy? In the NCERT it is only written energy, but it is known as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so how many ATPs are released? 38. More details you will learn later, but I will tell you in detail about ATP a bit. So first know, so 38 ATP. ATP is the energy currency of the cell. Okay, in humans and in most organisms, ATP is the energy currency. So here 38 ATP is released in presence of oxygen. So what happened? The glucose in cytoplasm breaks down into pyruvate. Then in mitochondria, in presence of oxygen, it releases carbon dioxide, water and energy, that is 38 ATP. Okay, so what happens in absence of oxygen? So this is an aerobic respiration. Okay, you can term it, you know. Okay, now anaerobic, that means in absence of oxygen. Okay, in humans, why will there be absence of oxygen? It is a particular situation. When does it happens actually? When we do a lot of physical activity, when we exercise a lot, then what happens? We need energy quickly, we need instant energy, so which our body cannot provide. Okay, the oxygen, there is a lack of oxygen, it cannot, we cannot take the oxygen fast and release energy so soon. So that's why, to compensate that, we have another process which occurs in the absence of oxygen when we do lot of physical activities. Okay, so first you should know it occurs during doing physical activities. Okay. So now what happens? First step I have already told you. Glucose 6 carbon breaks into in cytoplasm. Okay, same, it always, this is the first step, that is pyruvate C3H4O3, 3 carbon compound. It forms in muscle cells. Okay, in muscle cell. Okay, this occurs in muscle cells. Okay, so it releases lactic acid plus energy that compensates our need. But due to the, this is also a 3 carbon compound. Okay, so what happens, but due to this formation of lactic acid, something occurs in our muscle and that is known as cramps. So cramps happen due to release of lactic acid. Okay, so this is the case in the absence of oxygen. What happens? Now in yeast, same, the glucose breaks into pyruvate. Okay, to to produce, what does it produces? Ethanol. Okay. And energy. But due to the absence of oxygen, in yeast is an anaerobic organism, means the anaerobic respiration occurs. Okay, so lack of oxygen, so what happens actually? So the ethanol, okay, ethanol is released, and energy, the energy is very less, that is only 2 ATP, only 2, whereas in presence of oxygen in humans we getting 38 ATP, but here only 2. Okay, due to this release of ethanol, we also know this process as fermentation. You know, yeast is used in different type of food material, in brewing the drinks and all. So this process is fermentation, and so yeast respires in absence of oxygen to produce ethanol and 2 ATP and water. Okay. So next we are going to see how the respiration, how we get the oxygen and how it reaches in our lungs, and what happens actually, how the oxygen gets into our cell. So that is the external mechanism. So let's see. Okay, now we should know, I told you in the last topic about ATP. So the 38 ATP released in presence of oxygen, in absence there are only 2 ATP. So what is ATP? Let's learn about it. ATP full form is adenosine triphosphate. It is the energy currency. It has some bond. The triphosphate means there are 3 bonds which contains the energy. Okay, it releases energy for other activities in the cell, and it drives the endothermic reactions in the cell. Endothermic means when they react. So it drives the endothermic reaction. Endothermic means the reaction which absorbs the energy. Okay, so it releases the energy which is used for the endothermic reactions in the cell. So how this ATP is made, how this ATP is stored in our body? First of all, where it is stored? I have already told you, in mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of cell. Stored in mitochondria. Okay, so what happens? ADP is also a type of currency, which is energy currency, which is present in our body. Along with it, some inorganic phosphates are present. Okay, inorganic phosphate, you can say, it is also symbolized as I. Okay, this is inorganic phosphate. And this is adenosine diphosphate. Okay, so when ADP plus inorganic phosphate in presence of what? That is most important, energy. Okay, when the energy is released during respiration, I told you energy is released. So this, after the energy, what happens to the energy? The ADP plus inorganic phosphate in presence of energy, with the released energy, it makes the ATP. So what happens? ADP and a bond is made between the ADP and inorganic phosphate. Okay, inorganic phosphate, and it forms ATP. Another phosphate, simple, there are it was diphosphate, it becomes triphosphate, ATP. So what happens? It has a new bond is formed. So when we know, when the bond is broken, then energy is released, and when the bond is made, energy is stored. Okay, so here the energy is stored. So I can also write here simple, ADP Okay, I am using this type of arrow because energy is stored when the bond is made here, and energy is released. When energy is released, it again form ADP and inorganic phosphate. So this continues because energy is stored always and always energy is released. Okay, energy released. So this is how the ATP is made, and this is how it releases the energy, and this is how it is made, and this all happens in mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of our cell. So next we are going to learn about the external mechanism. Okay, so now let's start the external mechanism of how our oxygen reaches our lungs. Okay, so first here is the diagram. You need to make a neat diagram. So first we breathe in the air. Okay, the air is rich, which is rich in oxygen. We don't only breathe in oxygen, along with oxygen other gases also get inside our nostrils, but we can take it as we breathe in the air rich in oxygen, and we breathe out the air rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, so it passes through the nostrils, which is the opening in our nose here. Okay, so then it here in the nostrils there are some tiny hair present with mucus, which helps to trap the microbes or the germs or the external particles which get into our nose. So air lining present. Okay, so next it passes through the nasal passage. From here it enters, then it crosses the pharynx. Okay, then after pharynx it crosses the larynx. Larynx is the voice box. Okay, this is the voice box. Okay. After this it reaches to the important part, that is the trachea. Okay, okay, trachea is made up of ribs of cartilage, rings of cartilage. Okay, trachea made up of rings of cartilage. Okay, why it is made up of rings of cartilage? Here it is all tissue and soft muscles. Why it is made up of cartilage? Okay, so the reason is when we breathe in, after we breathe out, if it will be tissues, it will stick with each other. Okay, and our trachea will collapse. Okay, so to prevent the throat from collapsing, the trachea from collapsing, it is made up of rings of cartilage, C shaped. Okay, so these are the, you see, these are rings of cartilage, rings of cartilage that prevent the collapsing, prevents collapsing. It can be asked as a 2-mark, 1-mark question. After that it divides into 2 bronchi. Okay, then this bronchi further branches in the lungs. Okay, here this is the bronchi. Okay, here one, left and right. Then after that it branches into many, and these are known as bronchioles. Okay, here these are bronchioles. At the end of the bronchiole there is a balloon shaped like sac known as alveolar sac, plural alveoli. Okay, so what is the shape? Balloon shaped. Why is it so? I am going to show you a elaborate diagram here. After here branches it up here like this. Also on this balloon shape there are also small balloon like protrusions present here. Okay, so why the structure is like this? For maximum expansion, for greater surface area, like the presence of villi and microvilli. Similarly, the alveoli has such type of surface to have maximum expansion. It can expand a lot when oxygen gets in. So it's greater surface area. For greater surface area, it has such type of shape. Okay, so this is the total external mechanism, how the air gets into our lungs, and the last is alveoli. Okay, so next we are going to learn the respiration in plants, in terrestrial animals and in aquatic animals. Okay, so now before we read about the respiration in plants and aquatic animals, we should know some important facts regarding the breathing mechanism. First is, you should ask how the oxygen is going to reach to our blood, okay, how is going to be utilized and all. So the diffusion is not possible in animals with large surface area. Humans are so large, if the oxygen is going to be transported by diffusion, it will take long time, and there are many organs and cells and it is very organized. So diffusion is not possible. Okay, so what is going to happen? Oxygen, why actually the main reason why oxygen cannot be transported by diffusion is oxygen has low solubility, very important. Oxygen has low solubility in blood and water than carbon dioxide. Oxygen has very low solubility, it cannot mix. So it needs a carrier pigment, something which can carry the oxygen to the in the blood, okay, to the needed areas. So how is going to happen? Okay, so the carrier pigment which we know is a hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin present in RBC. Hemoglobin. Why hemoglobin can carry oxygen? Because it has high affinity for oxygen. It has iron group, heme group. Okay, so it has high affinity for oxygen. It can carry the oxygen to the required parts. Okay, but what happens then CO2 when the oxygen is taken out? What happens to the CO2? CO2, as I have already told you, has more solubility, can be more soluble in water, so it can be more soluble in blood too than oxygen. So CO2 directly comes out by diffusion. Okay, so the blood which brings the CO2 from the rest of the body into the alveoli, and the alveoli takes out the oxygen is carried by the hemoglobin in the blood, and then it goes to the required parts and the CO2 is released. Okay, so as you should know, when we breathe in, okay, we take a lot of air, and as we breathe out, do we breathe out the same amount, same volume? No, we breathe out one third of the volume we take in. Volume of air we breathe. Okay, so 1/3 is released and 2/3 is in our body. So the some residual volume of air remains in lungs. Why? To give sufficient time for the oxygen to be absorbed from the alveoli. It had to be carried by the hemoglobin to the different parts and the CO2 be released. This process needs a bit of time. So the amount of oxygen, the air we take in, we do not release the same amount of air. Okay, 1/3 volume of the air is released and the 2/3 remains for the oxygen to be absorbed and to release the carbon dioxide. So now we are going to read about the respiration in plants and aquatic animals. Okay, so now let's study the respiration in plants. Okay, so the photosynthesis occurs at day but not at night, because photosynthesis means it needs sunlight, but respiration is not affected by day or light or by sunlight. It's not affected by anything. So respiration rate is same always. Okay, the respiration rate is not affected whether it's day or night. Okay, so in day what happens? Photosynthesis occurs. So you remember the photosynthesis reaction. There what happens? The oxygen is a byproduct, it is released. So the CO2 is used and oxygen is released. So we breathe in the oxygen. But what happens at night? Many of elders also told us that don't go near tree at night. Why? What is the main reason? Because it releases CO2. Why? Because there is no photosynthesis. So what happens, that no sunlight means, so oxygen is taken. So if we go, the oxygen in the air, it takes it and it uses it for oxidation of the stored food. The food which is already stored, it uses it for the oxidation. Okay, so there is no photosynthesis. After oxidation, the CO2 is released. Okay, CO2 is released. So in the day, oxygen is released, which is good, but at night, carbon dioxide is released, which is very bad for our health. That's why we shouldn't go near the tree at night. Okay, so this is what happens in plants. Okay, so how the respiration occur, how the gaseous exchange occur? Through stomata. You already know gaseous exchange occur through stomatal opening, which are present in the underside of leaf. Okay. So next, after plants, we are going to read. We read about terrestrial organisms, that is human, and all the terrestrial organisms have similar type of thing. But in aquatic organisms, what happens? They cannot breathe in the oxygen in the atmosphere, so they take in the dissolved oxygen in the water. Okay, the oxygen is in a dissolved form in the water. So what happens? They take in the, for example, in fish. Okay, the example of fish is given in your NCERT. So they take in the water through the mouth, and from it the dissolved oxygen in the gills. The gills is the respiratory organ. Like we have lungs, they have gills. So the gills, the dissolved oxygen is extracted and then it is taken up to the blood. Okay, so what is the difference in the breathing rate? The breathing rate is very fast in aquatic organisms. Why? Because they take in dissolved oxygen. It has less amount of oxygen. Rather in the atmosphere, the amount of oxygen is very high, but that much is not available for the aquatic organism. That's why their breathing rate is very fast. Okay, so that's all for this video. I hope you like this video, and in the next topic we are going to cover about transportation. Thank you.